Dear all, good morning all of you. This is Dr. Lakshmi from SNH department. In our earlier classes, we have discussed about the method of consistency which is useful for solving the homogeneous and also the non-homogeneous system of linear equations. In this class, we are going to learn about the Gauss-Jacobi method. And before I introduce you the method which is called Gauss-Jacobi method, let me tell you something about this method. We have two such methods, namely Gauss-Jacobi and Gauss-Seidel methods. These two methods are also called as iteration methods or numerical methods because they can only give the approximation solution and never they can give the exact solution for any given non-homogeneous system. And that is the reason we call these two methods as the iteration methods. Numerical methods can also be sometimes known as the indirect methods. So what are the 2 points to be remembered? The first point is, using the Jacobi and the Seidel method, we can get only the approximation solution for the given diagonally dominant system. Right? And the second important point to be remembered is, if the given non-homogeneous system is diagonally dominant, only then the two methods, Seidel and Jacobi method, both of them are applicable. Otherwise, even the system cannot be solved by using this method. Right? Now let us have the discussion over this. Let us see what is the Gauss-Jacobi method and how a problem is written here. Let us apply the Gauss-Jacobi method for solving the question written here. Let me first introduce you the procedure that we deal with the Jacobi method. Suppose we are given a non-homogeneous system. So we are going to discuss what is the procedure related to the Gauss-Jacobi method. Suppose that we are given a non-homogeneous system, Ax is equal to b. Let me tell you in particular. Suppose we have 5 into x minus 4y plus z equal to 2, 3x minus 7y plus 2z equal to minus 1, 5 into x plus 7 into y plus 11 into z is equal to 2. So how many equations I have written? There are 3 equations and 3 unknowns x, y, z. Please look at this system of linear non-homogeneous equations. In the first equation we have first coefficient is 5, next minus 4, next is 1. So I am going to explain you what is the meaning of the diagonally dominant system. Because only those type of systems can give us the solution using this method. So in the first equation we have the coefficients are 5, minus 4 and plus 1. Out of the 3 values 5, minus 4 and 1, 5 is the largest value absolutely. Similarly in the second equation we have 3, minus 7 and 2. Minus 7 is absolutely large when compared with 3 and 2. Similarly in the third equation compared with 5 and 7, this 11 is the absolutely large value. So what we are doing, we are comparing the diagonal elements, the absolute value of the diagonal elements with the remaining elements of the same equation. And we found that the absolute value of the diagonals, that is 5, minus 7 and 11. The absolute value of all these 3 is clearly in this problem more than the remaining coefficients in the same equation. Therefore, we say that the system is diagonally dominant. Because it is diagonally dominant, now the Jacobi method is applicable to find the solution of this system. So, is it clear all of you how the Gauss-Jacobi method is solved? How the dominant system can be identified? Now, let me tell you the procedure. So, what we have to do is, first we check whether the given system is, check if the system, the non-homogeneous system is diagonally dominant. Let us check first whether the given non-homogeneous system is diagonally dominant. In the next step, if we found that it is diagonally dominant, then we write down the expressions for the variables of the given system of equations. Write the variables, the variable expressions from the given system of equations. In the third step, what we do is, we suppose that the initial solution of the system is x is equal to 0. Right? We are supposing that the 0 solution is the initial solution for the given non-homogeneous system. And then we try to improve the assumed 0 solution to its the next and next better and better value, which can finally give us the best approximation solution for the given non-homogeneous system. Now let us apply this process to solve the example shown here. Please all of you look at the problem here. Consider the first equation. The coefficients are 5 minus 1 plus 1. Corresponding absolute values are 5, 1, 1. First diagonal value is maximum in the first equation. Similarly, in the second equation, we have coefficients 2, 4, 0. Absolute values are again 2, 4, 0, where the second diagonal is maximum in the second equation. Similarly, from the third equation, the coefficients are 1, 0, 5. Absolutely also the same. And we can say the third diagonal is maximum in this third equation. So, what is the rule for the system to be diagonally dominant? In the first equation, absolutely the first diagonal should be maximum. In the second equation, second diagonal should be absolutely maximum. In the third equation, third diagonal should be absolutely maximum. Because the given system satisfies the rules of the dominant system, clearly we can say that the system is diagonally dominant. The system is diagonally dominant, and therefore we can say that the Jacobi method is now applicable to solve the system. So what we say here, the Jacobi method is applicable to solve the system. Now in order to apply the method, we initially suppose a solution. Let us suppose that because the variables in the system are x, y, z, let us suppose that x is equal to y equal to z equal to 0 is the initial solution of the given system. This is our assumption, right? Now, let us write down the variable expressions. The first variable is x. From the first equation, we write down the expression for the variable x. Clearly, from the first equation, we can have x is equal to 10 plus y minus z division by 5. From the second equation, we have the second variable y can be written as 12 minus 2x upon 4. From the third equation, we can write the third variable equal to minus 1 minus x upon 5. So in this way, we write down from the three equations of the dominant system what are the variable expressions for the given set of variables in the order. First x is equal to, next y is equal to, next z equal to. Now based on these three equations, using the assumption the initial solution 0, we now continue to calculate the different iteration solutions. Now let us do that. Okay, let us see the first iteration. First iteration. The first iteration always gives us the set of values x1, y1, z1. Now to calculate x1 is equal to, we use this x is equal to equation. It is 10 plus y1 minus z1 by 5. Because we are getting the value of x1, we have to use the initial values y0 and z0. Let us suppose that these are the initial values x0, y0, z0. And we are using this suffix for first approximation values, right? So we have x1 equal to 10 plus y0 minus z0 by 5. Because y0 and z0 are 0, we have 10 by 5 is equal to 2. Similarly, the value of y1 from the second equation, it is 12 minus 2x0 upon 4. Because x0 0, 12 by 4 it is 3. The next is z1. It is minus 1 minus x0. Because x0 0, it is minus 1 by 5 minus 0.2. Right? So the initial value, the approximation values are initially taken to be 0. Now From the first approximation, the values of the variables are 2, 3, minus 0.2. Let me write here, tabulate here the values. In the first approximation, the values of x, y, z are 2, 3 and minus 0.2. Right? Now, let us calculate the second approximation values. Right? Let us calculate the second iteration, second approximation values denoted by x2, y2, z2. Accordingly, from the same set of variable expressions, we can write x2, y2, z2. And the corresponding values are 10 minus y1, because already we have the first approximation values. We have the first approximation values 2, 3 minus 0.2. Now these three set of values has to be used to calculate the second approximation values. So we have to take here x2 equal to 10 plus y1 minus z1, because y1, z1 are known in just the previous iteration. After substituting y1 equal to 3 and z1 is equal to minus 0.2, we have this x2 is equal to, we can get the value 2.64. Similarly, y2 is equal to 12 minus 2x1 by 4, because x1 is equal to 2, the x value 2 in the first approximation. We have 12 minus 4, it is 8 by 4, the value is equal to 2. Similarly, we have z2 equal to minus 1 minus x0, it is minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 by 5, it is minus 0.6. So what are our second approximation values? It is 2.64, 2 minus 0.6. Now let us do the third approximation values by doing the third iteration. Third iteration values are denoted by x3, y3, z3. So in order to calculate x3, y3, z3 using the same set of expressions, we have 10 plus y2 minus z2. Right? Similarly, y3, 12 minus 2x2 by 4. And z3 we have minus 1 minus x2 by 5. After simplification we get, it is 10 plus y2, it is 2 minus of minus 0.6. So total it is 10 plus 2 plus 0.6 by 5 will give us the value 2.52. Okay, that you may check. Similarly, 12 minus y3 equal to 12 minus 2x2, where x2 equal to 2.64. So 12 minus 2 into 2x4 by 4 will give us the value. It is 1.64. Okay. Now to get the value of z3, which is minus 1 minus x2, where x2 is 2.64. We have minus 1 minus 2.64 by 5. We are going to get the value minus 0.728. Right? These are the three values in the third iteration. Now, doing the same in the fourth iteration. Let us have the values here also. Third approximation values. They are 2.52. Next is 1.64. The last is 0.728. It is 728 or 73 we can write. Now let us do the fourth iteration to get the values of x4, y4, z4. We have from our variable expressions x4, y4, z4 equal to x4 equal to 10 plus y3 minus z3. We can get this equal to 2.48. The next is 12 minus 2 into x3. Substituting the value of x3, which is 2.52. Here we get the value of this y4 is equal to 1. It is the value we are going to get 1.74. The next is the value of z4, which is minus 1 minus x2 means 2.52 by 5. It is going to give us the value minus 0.704. Right? It is minus 0.704. In the fourth iteration, the value of x is 2.48. The value of y is 1.74 and the value of z is minus 0.704. Now look at the table of iteration values we have found. The set of x values, the set of y values and the set of z values. First iteration, second iteration, third iteration and the last iteration. Right? Because look at the third and the fourth iteration values. In the third and the fourth iteration values, when we round up to the first place, we have 2.5, 2.5 here. Similarly, y values when round up to the first place, we have 1.64 here and 1.74. So it is 1.68, I think. Yes, it is clearly it is 1.68 only. So this is 1.7 and this is 1.74. This is minus 0.73 and this is minus 0.704. Our observation is the third and fourth iteration values are approximately the same. Therefore, we stop our process of iterations and conclude here that the required approximate solution of the given system, the column of variables where x is equal to 2.48, y is equal to 1.74 and z is equal to minus 0.704. Note that this is the only approximation solution, right? When this is round up to integral values, we get 210, which is going to be our exact solution to the system. But we don't bother about the exact solution because we are dealing with the iteration methods which can only give us the approximate solutions. So our conclusion is here. The required solution from the Gauss-Seidel method is x equal to 2.48, y equal to 1.74 and z equal to minus 0.704. Am I clear? Did you understood, all of you? Let us now discuss one more problem as shown here for solving the system by the same Gauss-Jacobi method. Now let us first verify to apply whether, let us first check whether the method is applicable for solving this problem or not. That is, we are going to see first whether the system is diagonally dominant so that the Jacobi method is applicable. Look at the first equation. It is the first diagonal 27. It is absolutely 27 also again. So it is more than the other two values 6 and plus 1. Absolute values I am considering. So our first equation is satisfying. Look at the second equation. We have the coefficients absolutely I am considering 1, 1, 54. Third value is maximum. But third should be maximum in the third equation. So second equation is not satisfying our criteria. Go to the third equation. The absolute values, the absolute coefficients are 1, 15, 2. The middle coefficient is absolutely more. It is again not satisfying our criteria. So the first equation is satisfying where the first value is absolutely more than the remaining two coefficients absolutely. Whereas the 2 and 3 equations are not satisfying our dominance rule. Suppose we interchange the last two equations. Our system reduces to first is as it is, wherein the first diagonal has absolutely more value than the other coefficients. Then we write instead of the second this third equation. We have x plus 15y plus 2z is equal to 72, which tells us that the second diagonal is absolutely more compared with the other two coefficients. Now the second is written as the third. It is x plus y plus 54z, where the third diagonal is maximum absolutely when compared with the remaining. Clearly these three now, after interchanging the second and third equations, satisfying our rule of dominant system. Now this system is now called the dominant system. This is now dominant and therefore the Jacobi method is applicable for solving this. Jacobi method is applicable. So what happened in this problem? The given system as it is not a dominant system, whereas when we interchange the second and third equations, it became dominant, and now in the first equation, first diagonal is maximum. In the second equation, second diagonal is maximum. In the third equation, third diagonal is maximum. we are saying that each of the diagonals are maximum in the sense of their absolute values, right? So now the system is clearly dominant, and now the Jacobi method is applicable for getting the solution. And before we apply the method, we have to initially suppose that the solution of the system is the zero solution. That is, x equal to 0, y equal to 0, z equal to 0 is the initial solution of the system, right? And in order to get the next and next further improved solutions, we have to do the iterations. The first iteration, second iteration, and so on. Now, to get the values in the first iteration, we have to find out the corresponding expressions of the variables from the dominant system. From the first equation of the dominant system, we can write the variable x equal to 85 minus 6y plus z upon 27. From the second equation of the dominant system, we can write the second variable equal to 72 minus x minus 2z upon 15. Similarly, from the third equation of the dominant system, we can write the third variable equal to 110 minus x minus y upon 54. Now, these three variable expressions are very much useful to us in order to get the iteration values successively. And we stop the process when the two successive iteration values are approximately the same, right? Now, let us do the first iteration. I am showing here the first iteration values to get the values of x1, y1, z1. To get the value of x1, it is 85 minus 6 into y0 plus z0 upon 27, where this y0 and z0 are initially supposed to be zeros. So that we get here 85 minus 0 plus 0, it is 85 by 27, which gives us 3.15. You can check this using your calculator. Similarly, to get the value of y1, we have the expression 72 minus x0 minus 2 into z0 upon 15. Because x0 and z0 are initially supposed to be zeros, we have 72 minus 0 minus 0, 72 by 15, which gives us the value 4.8. The next is the value of z1. From our expression of z, we can write z1 equal to 110 minus x0 minus y0 upon 54, which gives us 110 minus 0, which is 110 by 54. The value we are going to get is 2.04. Right? So I am listing out the first approximation values in the table formed here. We got x1. We got x1 value 3.15. y1 value is 4.8. z1 value is 2.04. Right? These are the values in our first iteration. Now coming to the second iteration. Now let us get the second iteration values x2, y2, z2. Wherein we have to take, instead of x0, y0, z1, the just found values of x, y, z, x1, y1 and z1. So now x2 equals to 85 minus 6y1 plus z1 upon 27. When we calculate this, we are going to get the value. It is 2.16. We have to put now the values of y1 and z1 of the first iteration, which are 4.8 and 2.04. Similarly, y2 is 72 minus x1 minus 2z1, where x1 is 3.15, z1 is 2.04. After getting 72 minus x1 minus 2z1, we have to divide by 15, which gives us the value 3.68. Right? The next is the value of z2, which is 110 minus x1 minus y1 by 54, where x1 is 3.15 and y1 is 4.8, thereby giving us the value 1.94. Right? These are the second approximation values of the x, y and z values. Placing them in the table, we have x2 2.16, y2 3.68, z2 1.94. Now coming to the third approximation, let us continue with third iteration wherein we calculate x3, y3, z3 using x2, y2 and z2. So our x3 become 85 minus 6y2 minus z2 upon 27, where y2 is 3.68, z2 is 1.94. It gives us the value 2.49, right? Next is y3, 72 minus x2 minus 2z2 upon 15, where x2 equal to 2.16, z2 equal to 1.94, and here we get the value equal to 3.55 we get, right? Now x3 value similarly we can calculate 110 minus x2 minus y2 by 54, where x2 equal to 2.16 and y2 is 3.65. The value we get here is 1.94. Placing the three values in the third approximation in the table, we have 2.49, 3.55 and 1.94. Now let us continue our discussion to the fourth iteration. Here we get the values of x4, y4 and z4. To get the value of x4, we have 85 minus 6y3 plus z3 by 27, where y3 equal to 3.55, z3 equal to 1.94. Placing the value of y3 and z3 here, and after dividing, when we divide by 27, we get the value of x4 is equal to 2.42. Similarly, when we calculate the value of y4, we have the expression 72 minus, we have to use the third approximation value, so we write x3, z3 upon 15, where x3 is 2.49, z3 is 1.94, and as a result after the calculation we get this y4 is equal to 3.49, right? Now in order to get z4, we have 110 minus x3 minus z3, where x3 is 2.49 and y3 is 3.55. Upon when we calculate by 54, we get the value 1.92. You can calculate and check each of these values. Due to time limitation, I am just giving you the values after calculation. You may check with your own calculator and you may verify these three values, whatever the values we are getting in each of the iterations. Now placing the values of the fourth iteration in the table, we have 2.42, x4 equal to, y4 equal to 3.49 and z4 is equal to 1.92. Please look at the table all of you. What are the values we have got? In the first iteration, we have x equal to 3.15, second iteration 2.16, third value 2.49, fourth iteration is 2.42. When we compare the third and fourth values, they are approximately very closer to each other, and therefore in the required solution we can say that whatever is the fourth iteration value 2.42 is the required x value. Similarly, when we compare the y values of third and fourth iteration, we have 3.55 and 3.49 approximately closer to each other. So our required approximation we can write 3.49. Similarly, from the last column, we have the third and fourth approximations very close, which we can write 1.92. And therefore our required solution is x equal to 2.42, y equal to 3.49 and z equal to 1.92. So is the method clear? So what happens in the Jacobi method? First we need to check the system whether diagonally dominant or not. If it is not dominant, right, what we do, we try to interchange the equations so that we make it dominant. after making dominant only, we can solve and apply the method. In this second problem, I have the given system not dominant. To make it dominant, we have interchanged the second and third equations, and here is written the dominant system. Now from the dominant system, we have written the variable expressions. X variable equal to, Y variable equal to, Z variable equal to. Now after having the assumption of initial zero solution, using these XYZ expressions, I tried to calculate first iteration X1, Y1, Z1. Using those first iterations in the second, I have calculated X2, Y2, Z2. Using those X2, Y2, Z2, I have calculated X3, Y3, Z3. And further using that X3, Y3, Z3, we have calculated the values of X4, Y4 and Z4. We have stopped there with the fourth iteration because when we observe the table, it is very clear that the third and fourth iteration values of X, Y, Z are very closer to each other. Right? Therefore, we have stopped our process to fourth iteration. If it is not the case with any other problem, we have to go with the next iteration also. So, wherever the two successive iterations coincide, we can stop there. It may be 2 and 3 iterations or 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, whatever it is. Whenever the two successive approximations coincide, we stop there and we conclude our problem that the last iteration values are the required solution for the given system. So finally we have here the required solution: X equal to 2.42, Y equal to 3.49 and Z equal to 1.92. I hope you all understood the method. Please practice similar such problems of the method at home very rigorously. Thank you.